1901. I've been out today, standing in the crowds trying to catch a glimpse of Queen Victoria's funeral procession. Everyone said I was mad to go at my grand old age, but she's been a good queen and I wanted to pay my last respects. I couldn't see much at first, there were so many people, but then a smartly dressed elderly gentleman helped me to the front. I turned to thank him, and as his eyes met mine I saw something wonderful, something I've been waiting over 60 years to see. Let me explain how it all started. (1837). My cousin Beatrice and I had gone out to watch Queen Victoria's coronation procession. There were crowds that day too, everyone jostling and shoving, all trying to get a better view. I got knocked several times, and Beatrice was cross because her new silk dress was getting crushed. "I cannot abide this crowd," grumbled Beatrice as a rough-looking man elbowed his way past her. "Do let us go home. I hate all this shoving." I nodded. "We'll see better from your balcony anyway. It's busier down here than we thought it would be." We hurried back to where Beatrice lived. It wasn't far. It was one of the grand new houses they'd built along the edge of the park. As we reached her gate, Beatrice suddenly gripped my arm and pointed at something huddled up in the garden. "Whatever is that?" I peered over to where she was pointing. It looked like a pile of old rags. "It's moving," Beatrice whispered. Then I realized what it was. It was a boy scrambling to his feet. I'd seen poor people before, of course, but never so thin. Never so dirty. And never so near. He stepped back, shielding his face with his hands. "Don't hit me. I ain't done nothing. We're not going to hurt you, I promise," I said. Beatrice made a grab at my arm. "Come away, Olivia. He's crawling with lice. He's probably got cholera too." I ignored her and stepped nearer the boy. Beatrice was right. He was filthy and he smelt disgusting, but the thing that really drew my eye was a cut across his cheek. It was very deep, and in the shape of a cross, like an ugly red kiss on the side of his face. "What happened?" I asked. "Who hurt you like this?" The boy coughed, and the harsh sound seemed to rip through his whole body. "Old Soames, the overseer at the match factory where I work. He got the belt out and whipped me this morning." Beatrice interrupted him. "He must have had a reason for beating you." He turned to look at her. "He hit me because I fell, miss. Old Soames doesn't like anyone fainting, or getting sick. But the factory fumes get in my throat and in my chest, and make me feel dizzy and sick." He coughed again. "Please don't tell anyone about me. I'll never go back to that factory. I'll find other work. I'll work hard, and I'll make a better life for myself somehow." "Send him away," Beatrice whispered to me. "Give him a chance to go. He must be crawling with fleas. The maid will have to wash the path down once he's gone." "But it seems so cruel not to help him," I whispered back. I turned again to the boy. "How old are you?" The boy shrugged. "Don't know. I can't count numbers and things." Beatrice sniffed in disgust. then you should go to school and learn. Schools cost money. We ain't got none. Well, you were fortunate to have a job in the factory. People like you don't know when you're well off. Don't be so heartless, Beatrice, I said. Does that man beat you often? I asked the boy. Not much. He gave a hollow laugh. Only if we cough. If we sneeze. If we cry. Suddenly we heard footsteps and a shadow fell across the path. So there you are, you wretched boy. I recognized the man straight away. It was the one who'd pushed past Beatrice in the crowd earlier. The boy recognized him too. It's Mr. Soames, he said. From the factory. He looked around wildly for some way to escape. Soames pushed through the gate and I tried to block the path. Keep away, I cried. You've no right to come in here. Get out of my way, he growled. Don't let him get me. The boy's voice was pleading. Last week he hung a girl upside down from the ceiling because she'd run away. She hung there all day. Even Beatrice looked shocked. Do children sometimes die there? All the time, miss. They die of coughing. They die of beatings. They die of being caught up in machines. And sometimes they die because they're too tired to stay alive anymore. I felt a rush of anger and turned to the man. You should take more care over your apprentices. Surely if you looked after them better they'd be stronger and fitter. It would be better for all of you. Soames gave a short laugh. I've done a lot worse than he's ever had to do. At his age I was working down in the sewers. The smell in there rots your nostrils away. It's cold and it's dark. Some nights I was attacked by rats as big as dogs. Look. He rolled his sleeve up to show long ugly scars running down his arm. Beatrice pulled a face. That looks dreadful. So it is, lady. But the world's not always a perfect place. We all have to live as best we can. I was feeling really miserable. There wasn't anything I could do to help the boy, but when I turned to look at him, he'd gone. Slipped away, the little eel. Sly as foxes they are. If I ever catch him, he'll pay for this, believe me, muttered Soames. I watched as he hurried off down the street. Thank goodness they've gone. Beatrice grabbed my arm. The crowd are really shouting now. I think the procession must be almost here. We ran together into Beatrice's house, up the huge staircase and out onto the balcony. We were just in time to see the beautiful coach with the new queen in it pass by. Long live the queen, cried the crowd. Long live the queen, cried Beatrice. Long live the queen, I cried. But although I shouted and waved like everybody else, I kept thinking of the thin, ragged little boy who, from the looks of him, might not get the chance to live very long at all. So that was it. The day of Queen Victoria's coronation. I've never forgotten it, but it hasn't been the beautiful coach and horses that have stayed in my head. It's the memory of that frightened, ragged little boy that has haunted me. I always hoped that he'd survived and managed to make a better life for himself after all. And that was the wonderful thing that happened at the funeral procession today. As I turned to thank the smart elderly man who had so kindly helped me, I got a good look at his face. There was a big scar, shaped like a kiss, across his left cheek.